Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to becoming truly well-informed by unearthing the most important nuggets from a stack of sources. Today, we're embarking on a journey into one of life's most profound, yet often hidden, transformations. Have you ever, just stopped to consider the sheer marvel unfolding within the earliest stages of human development, long before it's even visible to the outside world? It's a period brimming with silent miracles and incredibly rapid change. Our mission today is to take a really deep dive into the fascinating, intricate world of 5 weeks pregnant. We're drawing our insights from comprehensive, medically reviewed information found on BabyCenter, which is, well, a resource many expecting and new parents trust implicitly. For anyone curious about the very first stages of life and the monumental changes that begin to orchestrate themselves within the body, this deep dive offers a powerful, sort of distilled understanding of this pivotal week. We're going to unpack everything from the surprisingly complex and rapid development happening at a microscopic level to the common and often intense symptoms experienced by the expectant parent and those absolutely crucial early preparations that really lay the groundwork for a healthy pregnancy journey. Let's get right into the heart of it.
It truly is remarkable. At 5 weeks, so much intricate development is already in motion, often before the individual even has definitive confirmation of their pregnancy. The body is just, well, it's an orchestra of change, really.
Okay, so before we zoom in with microscopic precision on the specifics of week 5, it's worth taking just a moment to appreciate the vast landscape of information available to anyone navigating the path to parenthood. Platforms like BabyCenter are our primary source for today's deep dive. They aren't just focused on one narrow aspect. They truly encompass the entire spectrum of this journey. From the initial stages of understanding ovulation and fertility, through the excitement of choosing baby names, meticulously tracking baby development week by week, and even providing guidance on broader family health and well-being. It's an expansive, supportive ecosystem designed to empower families with knowledge at every turn. But today, our focus narrows to an incredibly specific yet profoundly impactful moment in this grand journey, week 5. It's a moment of subtle signals, yes, but immense significance.
What's truly fascinating here is that while the entire journey is indeed vast, week 5 is often that crucial point when the body really starts to send those unmistakable signals. It creates this palpable sense of initial awareness for the expectant parent. You might start to genuinely feel pregnant around this time, as several key early pregnancy symptoms, driven by, a surge in hormones, become significantly more noticeable and insistent. Let's delve into some of these early indicators. One of the most common, and for many, utterly overwhelming, is fatigue. And this isn't just feeling a bit tired after a long day. We're talking about a profound, almost bone-crushing exhaustion that can hit you unexpectedly, even early in the morning. While the exact physiological mechanisms aren't entirely understood, the primary culprit is almost certainly the massive hormonal changes flooding the body. Progesterone, for instance, a hormone that surges in early pregnancy, has a natural sedative effect. And on top of that, your body is undertaking an incredible amount of work at a cellular level, rapidly building a placenta, increasing blood volume by up to 50%, and initiating the formation of new organs for the embryo. All of these processes demand a tremendous amount of metabolic energy, which can leave you feeling utterly drained. The good news, and often a huge relief for many, is that this intense fatigue typically begins to improve significantly as you transition in the second trimester, usually around week 12 or 13.
That's definitely something to look forward to, that second trimester energy boost.
Absolutely. Another frequent and very early indicator is achy or swollen breasts. For many, this is among the very first physical clues. The mechanism here is quite direct. Soaring levels of pregnancy hormones, particularly estrogen and progesterone, coupled with a dramatic increase in blood flow to the breasts. Well, it causes them to swell, feel sore, tingly, and unusually sensitive to touch. You might notice your regular bra is feeling uncomfortably tight, or even find that certain movements are painful. It's your body rapidly preparing for its future role in lactation, even at this really nascent stage.
Right, even that early.
Exactly. And of course, the infamous nausea, commonly referred to as morning sickness, though, as many can attest, it can strike at any time of day or night. This telltale sign of pregnancy can vary wildly in its timing, intensity, and duration from person to person. Some might experience only mild queasiness, others debilitating vomiting, and a lucky few might bypass it entirely. It typically makes its unwelcome appearance around week 5 or 6, making it one of the very first undeniable giveaways for many that they're pregnant. The exact cause is still debated, but high levels of human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, that's the hormone detected in pregnancy tests, are strongly implicated, as are other hormonal shifts.
The hormone soup, basically.
Pretty much. Then there's the increased need for frequent urination. You might suddenly find yourself making far more trips to the bathroom than usual, sometimes feeling like you just went minutes ago. This is due to a fascinating combination of factors working in tandem. Firstly, those surging pregnancy hormones, particularly HCG, increase blood flow to your pelvic area, including your kidneys, making them more efficient at filtering waste. Secondly, as your body's overall blood volume rapidly expands again, to support the growing embryo and placenta, there's simply more fluid to process. All this extra fluid processed by your, well, overachieving kidneys ends up in your bladder, leading to that constant, often inconvenient urge to pee. It's just a new reality during early pregnancy.
So, as the body orchestrates these profound internal changes and starts sending out all these new, often perplexing signals, it makes incredible sense to want to keep a careful watch on them. This is precisely where modern tracking apps, like the BabyCenter app, our source references, become truly invaluable tools. They allow individuals to meticulously log these early symptoms, whether it's the sudden fatigue, a wave of nausea, or even new sensations like mild cramping. By doing so, you can begin to tune into your body's unique changes, identify patterns, and even notice trends over time. It's like having a personalized, incredibly detailed diary of your body's journey, helping you understand and adapt to what's happening.
Precisely. And as these physical changes become more apparent, a very personal, yet universally pondered question often emerges. When do we tell people? Our source makes it clear that there are truly no hard and fast rules about when to announce a pregnancy. This is a deeply intimate and personal decision, and ultimately it's up to you. Many expecting parents, for a variety of emotional and practical reasons, choose to wait until later in the first trimester, or even into the second. This often aligns with the completion of the first ultrasound, which provides reassurance and also coincides with a significant decrease in the risk of early miscarriage. Waiting can offer a sense of privacy and allow the parents to process the monumental news themselves before sharing it more broadly. However, for others, sharing the news earlier, even at 5 weeks, might be essential for seeking emotional support, especially if they are experiencing particularly challenging symptoms or simply feel an overwhelming need to confide in loved ones. Each family's decision is valid and unique.
Makes sense. It's such a personal call. Speaking of surprises and shifts in expectation, here's where it truly gets interesting for some expectant parents. While the vast majority of pregnancies are singleton, the thought of multiples, like twins, can certainly cross one's mind, especially if there's a family history or if fertility treatments were involved. The general likelihood of conceiving twins naturally is relatively uncommon, sitting at approximately, 3 out of 100 for most people.
That's about right. However, those chances increase quite significantly in some cases, up to 30% for individuals who have undergone certain fertility treatments, such as in vitro fertilization, IVF. The good news for those who might be wondering is that multiple pregnancies are typically discovered quite early in the journey, often during a first trimester ultrasound. This early discovery is, as you can imagine, a monumental moment that can dramatically shift expectations for expectant parents, instantly transforming their preparations for not just one, but two new bundles of joy.
Wow, yeah, that's a game changer that sets a whole new course for the pregnancy. Okay, now let's turn our attention to the true marvel unfolding inside the very core of this deep dive. At 5 weeks, when you envision the embryo, it's profoundly tiny, barely larger than a sesame seed. And to be completely frank, it's more like a tadpole than a human in its appearance, with a distinct head and tail. But please don't let that humble description mislead you, because this nascent life is developing at a furious pace. This seemingly microscopic speck is where the precise blueprint of an entire human being is being laid out with astonishing speed and intricacy. It's a profound transformation that begins from an absolutely foundational cellular level.
What's truly fascinating here is how quickly these distinct foundational layers are already orchestrating the groundwork for every single part of the human body. The embryo at this stage is forming from three fundamental layers: the ectoderm, the mesoderm, and the endoderm. Think of these as the primary building blocks, like the architectural strata from which all future organs, tissues, and systems will meticulously differentiate and construct themselves. It's an incredible display of biological programming, really. Let's begin with the ectoderm, which is the embryo's outermost layer. This is where truly critical and complex development begins to unfold. From the ectoderm, the neural tube starts to form. This neural tube is undeniably one of the most important structures because it will ultimately become the baby's entire central nervous system: the brain, the spinal cord, and all the intricate network of nerves that will allow communication throughout the body. So this is a pivotal and highly sensitive moment for neurological development. But the ectoderm isn't solely dedicated to the nervous system. It's also the origin of all the external surface structures of the body. This includes the baby's skin, which will protect them, their hair and nails, the mammary and sweat glands, and even the hard enamel that will cover their teeth.
Wow, all from that one outer layer.
All from the ectoderm. It's astounding to consider how much diversity springs from the single initial layer. Next, we move to the mesoderm, the middle layer. This layer is an absolute powerhouse of development, primarily responsible for building the body's internal structural and circulatory systems. Most notably, this is where the primitive heart and the entire circulatory system begin to form. It's a true marvel of early development that by the very end of this week, there will already be cardiac activity in the baby's developing heart. It's typically a tiny, flickering pulsation visible on an ultrasound, often one of the most emotionally impactful and exciting moments for expectant parents during their first scan. Beyond the heart, the mesoderm also contributes significantly to the formation of all the baby's muscles, which will enable movement, their cartilage and bones, forming the skeletal framework and the connective tissue that lies just under the skin. It's literally building the framework for movement and life support.
The heartbeat. That must be just incredible to see so early.
It really is. Finally, we arrive at the endoderm, the innermost layer. This layer is primarily dedicated to forming many of the vital internal organs and glandular systems. From the endoderm, the baby's lungs will begin to develop, essential for breathing, along with the entire intestinal tract for digestion, and the early structures of the urinary system. It also plays a crucial role in the development of important glands like the thyroid, which will regulate metabolism, the liver, essential for detoxification and nutrient processing, and the pancreas, which will produce vital hormones like insulin. So in the span of just a few short weeks, these three distinct embryonic layers are rapidly differentiating and specializing, each meticulously contributing to the basic framework for virtually every major system in the human body. It's an explosion of biological differentiation and specialization, all happening within a speck the size of a sesame seed.
It truly puts into perspective the incredible efficiency of early development. And as all this internal architecture is being rapidly built with such precision, there are also essential support systems already beginning to form and function, acting as the baby's immediate lifeline. Our source highlights the primitive placenta and the umbilical cord, which are already on the job, even in the earliest forms, diligently delivering crucial nourishment and oxygen to the developing baby. They're effectively the baby's first vital connection to the expectant parent. What's also fascinating is the often overlooked role of the yolk sac at this very early stage.
Yes, the yolk sac. It plays a surprisingly crucial and immediate role, actively churning out red blood cells and delivering nutrients to the tiny embryo. This happens before the placenta is fully developed and operational to take over these functions. So even at this microscopic sesame seed size, the baby already has its own sophisticated internal support team working overtime to sustain its rapid growth.
Incredible. So, to quickly reiterate the most significant milestones achieved by the end of this truly remarkable fifth week, we witnessed the initiation of that vital cardiac activity in the developing heart.
That little flicker.
Exactly. The tiny embryo now possesses a distinct head and tail structure, kind of tadpole-like still, but distinct. And the all-important neural tube, which will form the brain and spinal cord, is rapidly progressing in its formation. It's just astonishing how much foundational development occurs in such a brief period. And beyond the sheer biological wonder, it's interesting to observe how platforms like BabyCenter also recognize and cater to the broader, often lighter-hearted, human experience of the pregnancy journey. While the medical information is paramount, they also offer engaging content designed to connect with expecting parents on a more personal level. Think about fun quizzes like, what's your nesting personality? Or what's your pregnancy energy level? Or even what's your pregnancy style? There's even a playful BabyCenter zodiac to explore, associating your baby's potential temperament with their astrological sign. These elements, while clearly not medical, serve to foster a sense of community, shared experience, and fun, acknowledging that pregnancy is not just a biological process, but a profound life event, filled with anticipation, curiosity, and sometimes, well, a need for a lighter touch.
Definitely helps to balance the serious stuff with a bit of fun along the way.
Now let's transition from the unseen, microscopic wonders of embryonic development to the very real and often impactful symptoms the expectant parent may be experiencing. These are the body's unmistakable and sometimes insistent signals that something profound is underway, communicating changes that demand attention and adaptation.
Let's indeed dive a bit deeper into that frequent urination we touched upon earlier. The physiological basis for this seemingly incessant need to pee is a fascinating and intricate interplay of rapidly increasing pregnancy hormones and your body's significantly expanding blood volume. As pregnancy progresses, your blood volume can increase by up to 50% by the end of gestation. In early pregnancy, your kidneys, influenced by hormones like HCG and progesterone, become far more efficient at filtering this increased blood volume. This means they're processing more fluid and sending it to your bladder more frequently. Additionally, even though your uterus is still quite small at 5 weeks, roughly the size of a lemon, it can still exert a subtle pressure on your bladder, contributing to that constant urge. Our source offers clear, practical advice. It's important to stay hydrated throughout the day for your overall health and the baby's development, but you may want to strategically cut back on fluids late in the day so you don't have to get up to pee as frequently at night.
Right. Trying to get some sleep is key.
Absolutely. You want to avoid dehydration, but smart fluid management can definitely contribute to more uninterrupted sleep.
And speaking of those unmistakable early signs, tender, swollen breasts are often one of the absolute earliest indicators many women notice. This isn't just a vague feeling of discomfort. The mechanism behind it is quite direct and hormonally driven. The dramatic increase in pregnancy hormone levels, particularly estrogen and progesterone, directly boosts blood flow to your breasts. This surge in blood, combined with the activation of milk ducts and glands, causes them to feel swollen, sore, tingly, and unusually sensitive to touch. Many women describe it as a heightened tenderness, similar to what some might experience before a period, but often more intense and persistent. For many, this specific physical signal is often the first thing that makes them pause and think, could I be pregnant?
It really is one of the classics. Then there's the pervasive fatigue, a profound bone-crushing exhaustion that can truly redefine your energy levels. While, as we mentioned, the exact cause isn't entirely known, the scientific consensus strongly points to the massive hormonal fluctuations and the immense physiological work your body is undertaking. Your metabolism is revving up, blood volume is increasing, whole new organ, the placenta, is being built, and millions of cells are dividing and differentiating at a furious pace to form the embryo. All of these processes demand an extraordinary amount of energy from your body, often leading to a weariness unlike anything you've experienced before. It's not laziness, it's your body's profound reprioritization of resources. The comforting news is that most women do find their energy levels begin to return significantly as they move into the second trimester, offering a welcome reprieve. Until then, the advice from our source is critical. Try to get more sleep whenever you can. Lighten your daily load, don't hesitate to ask others for help with tasks, and prioritize good self-care. Listening to your body's need for rest during this period is not a luxury, it's really a necessity.
Definitely. Now, a symptom that can understandably cause a lot of worry for expectant parents is spotting, or light bleeding. Our source provides a crucial statistic here. About 1 in 4 women experience spotting or light bleeding during the first trimester, which indicates it's actually quite prevalent.
It is surprisingly common, yeah.
It's incredibly important to understand that while it's often nothing serious and can be very normal, sometimes it's just implantation bleeding when the embryo burrows into the uterine wall. It is also true that sometimes it's a sign of a miscarriage or an ectopic pregnancy. Because of this inherent uncertainty, the actionable advice is always, unequivocally, to call your doctor or midwife just in case. Even if it turns out to be nothing, getting professional reassurance is vital. And for any active, heavy bleeding or severe pain, especially if it's accompanied by cramping or dizziness, and if you can't immediately reach your provider, it's crucial to head to the emergency department right away.
This raises a critical question. How vital is it to truly listen to your body and proactively seek professional guidance, even for what might appear to be a minor or fleeting symptom? It's absolutely crucial. Vigilance and open communication are key. Don't ever hesitate to call if you're worried. And then we have morning sickness or nausea and vomiting of pregnancy, which is perhaps the most iconic pregnancy symptom. It affects different expecting moms at different times, and thankfully some are fortunate enough to not experience it at all. For those who do, it usually starts around week 5 or 6. Making it one of the first and most definitive giveaways for many that they're pregnant. The intensity and duration can vary greatly. Some experience mild, occasional queasiness, while others suffer from persistent, debilitating nausea and frequent vomiting throughout the day. The good news is that there are safe ways to get relief that can make a significant difference. These often include making strategic changes to your diet and lifestyle, such as eating small, frequent bland meals, avoiding trigger foods, or nibbling on crackers before getting out of bed. Exploring natural remedies like ginger or vitamin B6 can also be helpful. And crucially, if you're truly suffering and these strategies aren't enough, it's imperative to talk to your provider. They can discuss safe medication options. It's vital to remember that severe forms, like hyperemesis gravidarum, which can lead to significant weight loss and dehydration, definitely require medical intervention and are not something to simply suffer through in silence.
Right, don't just tough it out if it's really severe. And often complementing the nausea, food aversions are also incredibly common. Have you ever noticed how the faintest smell of your coworker's microwaved lunch can suddenly make your stomach churn, even if it's a food you normally love?
Oh, definitely. That heightened sense of smell is real.
This is a classic manifestation. These aversions often begin around week 5, and most expecting moms experience them, largely thanks to those rapidly changing hormones and a significantly heightened sense of smell. Your olfactory system becomes incredibly sensitive, making previously innocuous scents unbearable. Our source lists common culprits that trigger these strong negative reactions, such as meat, coffee, eggs, dairy, and foods with a lot of spices or fat. It's almost as if your body's giving you very clear signals about what it can and cannot handle during this sensitive period. To cope with these challenging shifts, the advice is quite practical. Try eating bland or cold foods, which tend to have less potent odors. And if the act of cooking itself makes you sick due to the smells, don't hesitate to ask a loved one to cook for you or opt for takeout. So what does this all mean for your daily life? It means your body is communicating clearly what it needs, and adapting to these signals, even if it means temporary, significant changes to your diet and lifestyle, is absolutely key to managing these early symptoms.
Listening to your body is paramount, especially now.
We've thoroughly explored the amazing internal transformations and the very real physical symptoms that characterize week 5. Now, let's pivot to the proactive steps, the crucial actions expectant parents can and should take at 5 weeks to ensure a healthy and well-supported pregnancy journey. This is where you begin to actively build your support system and make some truly foundational decisions.
One of the most foundational and significant decisions you'll make throughout your entire pregnancy journey is choosing your healthcare partner. This relationship will be central to your care for the next many months. If you already have an OBGYN or a midwife with whom you have a strong, trusting relationship, that's wonderful, you're off to a great start. However, if you don't, or if you're considering a change, now is absolutely the time to begin your research. Our source suggests several excellent strategies for finding the right fit. Firstly, talk to friends and relatives. Personal recommendations can be incredibly insightful, offering firsthand accounts of different providers' philosophies and bedside manners. Secondly, don't hesitate to ask one of your other healthcare providers, perhaps your primary care physician, for recommendations, as they often have a network of trusted specialists. Thirdly, it's crucial to check out the preferred providers under your specific health insurance plan to ensure coverage. Lastly, online searches can provide a wealth of information, from doctor reviews to practice websites. This initial choice sets the tone for your entire prenatal care experience, impacting everything from the frequency and nature of your prenatal visits to discussions about your birth plan. Finding someone you feel comfortable with, who listens to your concerns and whose philosophy aligns with yours, is incredibly important for a positive pregnancy experience.
That makes sense. It's like choosing a guide for this huge journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this decision truly shapes the medical and emotional support system that will guide you through this transformative time.
And as you're connecting with your newly chosen or existing healthcare provider, they're going to want to know as much as possible about your background and your family's health. This leads us to the crucial task of building your family health history. This isn't just a casual conversation. It's a truly collaborative effort that involves talking to relatives on both sides of the family, yours and your partner's. You'll want to gather information on parents, grandparents, siblings, and potentially even aunts and uncles. Why is this so critically important? Because your provider will meticulously review this information to identify any chronic conditions or genetic abnormalities that run in either of your families. This could include conditions like diabetes, heart disease, certain cancers, or genetic disorders like cystic fibrosis or sickle cell anemia. Knowing this information upfront allows your healthcare team to assess potential risks for your baby, tailor your prenatal care to be as proactive and personalized as possible, and potentially recommend specific screenings or consultations if necessary.
It really gives them a head start in providing the best care.
It's about getting the fullest possible picture to ensure the best possible outcomes for both you and your developing baby.
In today's highly connected digital age, leveraging digital resources is also an indispensable part of your pregnancy preparation playbook. Our source highlights the BabyCenter app itself as an excellent example of a powerful tool, offering expert pregnancy info, helpful tools, and detailed fetal development images. End quote. These dedicated pregnancy apps are incredibly beneficial because they can provide personalized insights tailored to your specific stage of pregnancy, offer daily or weekly updates on your baby's development, help you track symptoms, organize appointments, and even provide a visual sense of your baby's growth with fascinating images and videos. They often feature communities where you can connect with other expectant parents, offering a source of shared experience and support. It's like having a knowledgeable, constantly updated companion in your pocket, guiding you through every step of the journey.
Right, like having a little expert right there with you. Now, here's a non-negotiable step, and for many, truly an aha moment when they grasp its full significance. Taking your prenatal vitamin. If you haven't already started taking one, now is the time to start without delay. This isn't just about general nutritional supplementation for you. It's particularly critical to ensure you get enough folic acid right now at 5 weeks. Why is this specific nutrient so crucial? Because it greatly reduces your baby's risk of developing neural tube birth defects such as spina bifida.
This is so important.
It really is. The neural tube, as we discussed, is rapidly forming at 5 weeks, and adequate folic acid intake during this very early critical window is paramount for its proper closure and development. So, ensuring you have sufficient folic acid intake through a prenatal vitamin is a simple yet profoundly impactful proactive step you can take to protect your baby's earliest and most fundamental neurological development. It's a very small pill with absolutely massive, life-altering benefits.
Couldn't agree more. Another important area to consider, and a common question for many, is caffeine consumption. While a morning cup of coffee or tea is a deeply ingrained ritual for countless individuals, it's important to be mindful during pregnancy. Studies have linked high caffeine consumption to an increased risk of miscarriage and other pregnancy problems. This isn't a call for complete abstinence for everyone, but rather a strong recommendation for moderation and awareness. That's why the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, or ACOG, which is a leading authority in women's health, advises expectant moms to limit their caffeine intake to 200 milligrams per day or less.
And what does that look like in practice?
To help put that into practical perspective, that's roughly equivalent to about one large standard cup of coffee, or maybe two smaller cups of regular coffee. You do need to check labels, though, as caffeine content can vary a lot. This raises an important question for all expectant parents. How the seemingly small, everyday lifestyle adjustments, like carefully managing your daily caffeine intake, can have significant positive impacts on a developing pregnancy. It's a powerful reminder of how every choice, no matter how minor it seems, contributes to the well-being of your baby.
Little changes, big impact. Got it. As the body begins its incredible internal work, quietly orchestrating these profound changes, many expectant parents quite naturally start to wonder about the more visible shifts, particularly concerning their belly. What does a 5 weeks pregnant belly actually look like, and should you expect to see a bump yet?
All right, this is a common question. At 5 weeks pregnant, it's highly likely that any noticeable difference in your belly isn't a true baby bump, as you might imagine it later in pregnancy. Instead, what you're most likely experiencing is abdominal bloating due to hormonal changes. These early hormonal surges can significantly affect your digestive system, often leading to increased gas production and fluid retention, which can make your midsection feel quite swollen and uncomfortable. This can certainly make your regular clothes feel more snug around the waistline, even though your uterus at this stage is still quite small, typically about the size of a lemon, and still entirely contained within your pelvis. What's truly fascinating here is how these early, unseen hormonal shifts can so quickly manifest physically, creating a noticeable change in how you feel and how your clothes fit, even before any significant uterine growth contributes to a visible, undeniable baby bump. So it's more about hormones than the actual baby size at this point. Exactly. It's also incredibly important to stress that there is no one-size-fits-all formula for how and when women show during pregnancy. Everybody's different, and every pregnancy is unique. Some individuals might experience more significant bloating, while others might not see any changes yet at 5 weeks, and both scenarios are perfectly normal and within the healthy range of early pregnancy experiences. It's crucial not to compare your journey to others, whether it's friends, family, or the idealized images sometimes seen on social media, as everyone's body reacts and adapts differently to the physiological changes of early pregnancy.
That's good to remember. Along with questions about body changes, there are often very practical questions about eating and managing weight gain in the first trimester. It might come as a surprise to many, especially with the idea of eating for two, but at this earliest stage of pregnancy, you don't actually need to eat any extra calories. Your baby-to-be is still incredibly tiny, barely the size of a sesame seed as we've discussed, so your caloric needs haven't significantly increased yet. Typically, our source notes it's normal to gain about 3 to 5 pounds in the first trimester. However, it's also perfectly okay if you don't gain any weight at all during these early ones. In fact, many people actually experience some weight loss in the first trimester, primarily due to common symptoms like morning sickness, nausea, and food aversions, which can make eating challenging.
And that leads to a crucial point about weight loss in early pregnancy. Our source explicitly notes that some women lose weight in early pregnancy, often as a direct result of that intense nausea and widespread food aversions we discussed. In most cases, this weight loss isn't dangerous to the developing baby because, as you just highlighted, the baby's nutritional needs are still incredibly minimal at this very early stage. However, it is absolutely crucial to tell your provider right away if you're experiencing a lot of weight loss, particularly if it's rapid or significant, or if you suspect you may be suffering from hyperemesis gravidarum, which is that severe form of morning sickness characterized by persistent, debilitating nausea and vomiting leading to substantial weight loss and dehydration. This situation definitely requires medical attention. This highlights yet again the immense importance of open and honest communication with your healthcare provider about any concerns you have, even if they seem minor or just an inconvenience. They're the best resource to help distinguish between normal early pregnancy symptoms and something that might require medical intervention or further investigation, ensuring the health of both you and your baby.
Definitely. Keep those lines of communication open. All the comprehensive and insightful information we've shared today, from the incredibly detailed embryonic development to the practical advice for managing those often challenging early symptoms and preparing for a healthy pregnancy, comes from a highly credible and trustworthy source. BabyCenter's editorial team is deeply committed to providing helpful and trustworthy information to its vast audience. They achieve this by meticulously relying on credible sources, respected health organizations, professional groups of doctors and other experts, and published studies in peer-reviewed journals. They specifically cite and cross-reference information from esteemed organizations like the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, ACOG, the Mayo Clinic, and Medline Plus. This rigorous, evidence-based approach truly reinforces the reliability and scientific grounding of the information we've deep dived into today, ensuring that you receive the most accurate and up-to-date guidance.
It's good to know the information is well vetted. #outro.
What an incredible deep dive into week 5 of pregnancy. We've navigated the rapid, intricate development of the embryo, marveling at how those foundational ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm layers begin to form the very blueprint for every part of the human body. We've explored the common and often challenging physical symptoms that signal these early, profound changes, from the, bone-crushing fatigue and tender breasts, to the pervasive morning sickness and frequent urination. And we've laid out the essential early steps to prepare for a healthy pregnancy, from the foundational decision of choosing your healthcare provider to the critical, life-altering importance of taking your prenatal vitamin with that all-important folic acid.
Understanding these intricate details, even the seemingly small ones, truly empowers expectant parents. It provides them with the knowledge to navigate this unique and transformative period with greater confidence, to better comprehend what their body is experiencing, and to make informed, proactive choices that contribute fundamentally to the health and well-being of both themselves and their rapidly developing baby. It's about feeling more prepared and hopefully a little less overwhelmed by it all.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for you as you move forward? This deep dive into week 5 truly underscores that every single week of pregnancy is not just a progression of time, but a chapter of monumental growth and adaptation, not only for the developing life within, but for the entire family unit. It invites us to consider how might embracing this detailed, week-by-week understanding of the entire journey, truly immersing yourself in the science and the experience, transform your perspective on the profound miracle and incredible resilience involved in bringing new life into the world.
It really is an ongoing story of wonder.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.